Today I want to talk to you about lines. And let's start with the vertical line. They say that vertical line implies stability, growth, and if there are many of these lines, they create a rhythm to the image. But I'm starting with it because it's the most dominant one. When we have a vertical line in our frame, it is very hard to ignore it. It is like sort of a visual break. As our eyes go through the image, at the moment they encounter a vertical line, they stop. That line will always stop the flow. So be very careful with it. Vertical line in the wrong spot can reduce the impact of the image. If we place it too early on the left part of the image, we might just waste space. If we place it on the right part of the image, we might end the story too soon. The vertical lines need to be just in the right spot. Apart from setting beginnings and endings, vertical line is also often used to just simply split the frame, split the story into two. And of course, it doesn't have to be dead in the middle. We can use one of the thirds or just choose a suitable place for it, but something that makes sense. The next line is horizontal line. Horizontal lines are calm, has no movement to it, and that has impact on our photographs. One thing that we need to be careful with horizontal lines though is where they're passing, because apart from being calm, they're also running the visual flow from one side of the image to the other. You don't want your subject to be cut with that running line, so you will always have to consider placement so you don't cut unnecessary things. Now let's talk about diagonal line. Diagonal line is also a straight line, but it has some secret powers. It makes the image more dynamic and it often introduces motion into the scene. Let me give you an example. I photographed these two images in the same time, maybe with 10 to 15 minutes difference between each and one of them, but the location is the same. The first one is with horizon lines. You can almost feel the stagnation of the people waiting there. Everything is still, everything is stuck. That's how it feels. For the second one, I used an angle that created a diagonal line out of these bamboo poles, and that changed the whole feeling of the photograph. Now there is some feeling of movement, but the reality is that it's all the same stuck line where people are not moving and just standing there, just presented in a different way. You see how much power a single compositional choice can make? Actually, one of the things that I suggest my students to do is to remove the horizon leveling in their camera, because that horizon leveling settings fixates you in a very horizontal way of thinking that makes you photograph these images that are too still, too stagnated. At the moment you remove it, you're exploring diagonal lines much more, you're tilting your camera more, you're not so much worried about this horizon line to be absolutely straight, because if there is no horizon, there is no actually a need for the frame to be completely straight. You need to be careful with the geometry of the frame and how you distribute the objects inside when you already have some lines in. If there are no lines in the scene, you just don't use that leveling. The next line is curved line. Now, until now we were speaking about lines that are straight. Now let's touch a bit on the curved lines. Curved lines are all about visual comfort, and they just make us feel comfortable when we're looking at them. You're much more likely to hang the photograph of these sand dunes in your house rather than these two officers walking with all these horizontal lines going on there. One is more suitable for a spa, the other one is more suitable for an army office. As far as the direction, they work just like straight lines. If the direction of the curved line is vertical, it will still split the frame. If the curved line is horizontal, it will still give you that calm feeling, but with a little bit more harmony than just a straight line. And diagonals will be dynamic. Landscape photographers love curved lines that are just leading you inside of the frame. Lines are also used as pointers. A line can point to a subject and the eyes will follow. Photographers love using lines to point to what is important in the frame. Remember that if there is a line, the eye will follow. We can't even recognize what is exactly happening on that photograph, but the eyes will expect the lines there. Sometimes lines are not solid. It doesn't have to be a tree or a solid electricity line. Sometimes these are sequences of figures that together they're creating a line. It can be a row of trees, a lit part of the street, certain colors that are together forming a line. It can be a pattern of hands or any other objects that if you can take a look back, you can see that the sequence of these objects are creating a sort of a line. It can be again a straight line, diagonal, horizontal, or a leading line. Anything can work, just like these buffaloes here creating that curved line in the water. Now, how do we use lines? So first, as I mentioned before, we use them to establish a beginning or an ending to the scene. You can see how I framed that girl between the two legs of her father. There is more space on the left and on the right, but the eye is not reading that. The eye is reading the frame just from the left leg to the right leg, that's it. We can use them to split the attention. If the frame is quite busy, we can use a line to segment the frame into smaller parts, and that will allow the people who are looking at the image to just to just explore each part individually. We use them to convey a feeling. Remember, horizontal line is calm, diagonal line brings you tension, curved line, harmony. Look at this photograph of the fisherman. On the first photograph, all the lines are straight, so it feels very structured. On the second photograph, there is a small curved line made by the net, and it immediately feels more harmonic, more special. So this is something to keep in mind. If you have all of your photograph made of straight lines, and if you introduce a small curve there, it will make the photo more special. Sequence of lines creates rhythm of repetition, and repetition is used widely in photography, regardless to lines. And as last, we use lines as pointers. We use them to direct the attention of the viewer. Leading line is the perfect example. Or simply direct the eye through the sequence of lines. On that photograph, the line leads the attention to the two monks. On this one, the guys are pointing with their hands to different directions, so that kind of sent us to explore all these directions the hands are pointing. You see, lines are working. What else can be considered as a line? You see, here it gets more complicated, because almost everything can be considered as a line. A house is full with lines, a tree is a line, a car is a collection of different lines. Almost any object that we encounter on the street contains some sort of lines in it. A human is also a line. When he's standing still, it's a vertical line. When he starts moving his hands around, these can be horizontal lines or diagonal lines. You choose it. That is also why a lot of fashion photographers, they're asking their models to break their body into a sequence of lines. Experienced models know how to create these diagonals, how to tilt the shoulders, how to move one shoulder further, one further, and create this line that diagonal goes into the depth, and vice versa. Lines are used a lot in all styles of photography, not only street. Even human faces is a collection of lines, line, jaw lines. You probably heard photographers saying, this model has this magnificent jaw line. So every photographer needs to work with line. Doesn't matter if he's doing architecture, landscape, or portrait photography. So for us, as street photographers, lines are everywhere. Wherever you go on the street, you will encounter them. But now when we know the power of lines, what should we be careful of? Well, the first would be not to have unnecessary lines that are cutting the frame in an unflattering way, or worse, that cut your subject in an ugly way. Be extremely careful with horizontal lines that interact with people. A horizon line or a sharp architectural object that is passing through the joints or through the neck of the subject would create a very uncomfortable feeling, so be mindful of these. With vertical lines, be careful where they establish the start or the ending of the frame, or where they split the frame into halves. Leading lines should lead towards subject, not just lead through the frame and leaving the subject aside. That's why they're called leading, because they need to lead to something. And of course, we need to keep in mind the line visual weight. A thin line might not have a big impact, but if you have a solid, thick line going through your frame, that line can be very dominant and sometimes even compete with your object. Earlier I mentioned that we don't have to photograph everything straight, but we need to be careful with vertical lines, especially with doorways. These can get these weird tilts if we're getting the camera in correctly, and that can be unflattering, but overall we can really experiment and see how it feels. Now I want to touch on moment. When we're photographing outside, lines aren't everything, there is also the moment. Sometimes the moment is strong enough and the bad lines would be forgiving, but if the moment isn't strong, the lines can really ruin your photograph, so we need to be mindful of lines on any point. One or two strong lines can introduce clarity to the image, but too many lines can just become visually noisy unless there is a certain rhythm or a sequence to them. So be careful how many lines you're including into your framing. Often reframe to get whatever is excess out of there. Let me show you how I use line with some photographs and examples. On this first photograph, I'm using the lines on the left to lead the attention towards the colorful area in the middle. And the lines that are in the middle, the vertical colorful lines, they're just giving a rhythm. On that second photograph, I'm using the lines to frame my subject. And these beaded curtains that you see on the front of the subject, they're creating these curved lines. And again, you have this combination of very straight lines and curved lines. You have structure and harmony in a way. So again, these two are making something that is a little bit more special and interesting to look at. Here the lines just separate the both subject, putting each and every individual in his own box. Here again, I'm using the line of light to lead the eye towards the area at the bottom, towards the cyclist. You're following that line. Second photograph, I'm using the line horizontally to split the image. On the bottom you have the palm tree shadows, on the top you have the skies. And on that last photograph, I simply liked the geometry of the architecture. I was just traveling by BTS SkyTrain in Bangkok. And in one of the stations, I just saw all these lines getting organized in that such a perfect way with all these colors. So I snapped the photo. It's a fun photograph. So now when you go outside and look through your viewfinder, be mindful of these lines. Try to notice the lines or what creates these lines. And just being more aware of the compositional elements that are there. So we're starting with lines, and slowly we're learning to explore other compositional elements as well. At the end, we want to have cleaner and more intentional composition. I hope it was helpful. If you have any questions, don't be afraid to ask in the comments below, and see you next time. Happy shooting!